follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. The website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com. Hello, 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 hello. This is your host, Jay Real.
Listening to the Urban
I hope everybody's having a good time tonight. I know I am because it's Tuesday night. As I say every week, Tuesday nights are the best, 9 p.m. Real Family Talk, your host, Jay Real. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel with me here tonight. We got Jeremy behind those boards over there. How you doing tonight, Jeremy?
I'm good. How's everybody doing?
We're doing pretty good, sir. Miss McCrae's in the building. How you doing, Miss McCrae?
Hey, good evening.
And last but not least, I got a guest in the house tonight. This brother's been here before. Great musician, artist. Cyril is in the building, everybody. How you doing tonight, Cyril?
What's up? It's great to be here. I'm doing wonderful.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, let's jump right into some conversation here. Remember, if you want to join us, 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Real quick, we're going to talk about relationships tonight, and what men want in relationships. Last week, we spent some time talking about what women want in a relationship. This week, we're going to spend some time talking about what men want in relationships. So we're going to get there. But just first, couple comments. The Grammys. You guys watched the Grammys at all?
I did. I loved it.
Miss McCrae watched.
Music fan.
What about you over there, Brother Jeremy? You watched the Grammys at all, sir?
Not so much. I'm not a real big fan of the Grammys so much because I don't know, too much stuff I don't listen to.
Okay. Well, the couple of things that I saw real quick is you got the performances, of course. That's one of the big things about the Grammys. One of the bigger performances, Justin Timberlake is releasing new music this year. So he came and he did a performance on the Grammys of his new single that he got.
Hey. And
he introduced another one this evening as well. Welcome to the building, Mr. King. How you doing tonight, sir?
Howdy do.
So, yeah, he did his thing. The thing that I liked about his performance was he went kind of throwback. They took all the lights, they darkened them up, and his whole performance was in black and white. And then, of course, he had a full band, sort of like they have back in the 50s. When you look up there, there's a director. You got the full band, the horns, the strings, the percussionist. And then he performed this song. It has a real catchy beat. The lyrics, but real catchy beat, though. It's a real catchy beat, It's Timbaland. If you know anything about beats, Timbaland is known to make a good beat. So he did his thing, and the other guy that I liked was Bruno Mars. He performed like his new track or whatever. But then he threw some Bob Marley in there. He brought out the sons, Damien and Ziggy, and came out there and performed with him. He even brought out Sting on his performance. So he kind of did his thing as well. So shout out to both of those guys. Those are the two things as far as performances are concerned that I kind of thought were pretty good.
Hey, I was going to say I did catch Justin's performance because I wanted to see if we could see our what's the correct word? Well, we grew up in church together. Robert Stevenson, Orlando's own. He's one of Justin's backup singers and been with him for a while. He's just out in the music industry doing his thing. I know he's doing some vocal production for a few artists. So shout out to Robert Stevenson.
Yeah, shout out to Rob, as they call him.
Yeah, Rob.
They call him Rob.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody, y'all remember that song by Rob? That's going back. That was in the 90s. That was back in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like
but
late
we don't need to
90s,
talk about. Well, I guess the name of the song kind of does reflect what this show. It's called Foreplay.
But yeah, Rob.
I remember that.
You don't remember?
You
Rob?
remember that?
I have to look that up.
It
was
like,
on Rip It Records,
yeah.
the same records that brought out 95 South and 69 Boys.
Came out right after the 69 Boys were popular.
Yeah. And
then they released Rob. Like I said, we going.
You got
back.
airplay on BET. The videos got airplay on BET.
What was the name of the song?
15.
It was called Foreplay.
Foreplay.
Yeah, they sampled
the
they sampled the Key Sweat song. What's the Key Sweat song they sampled? I can't even think of the name.
Let me look this up.
That right now.
That's
Rob.
all that
It's
means.
R.
Hey, that's Orlando's own. Evans High
capital
School.
R, lowercase A,
all
capital A, lowercase B. Rob. That's how you spell it. But that's going back right there.
Yeah, that's going back.
That's going back right there. He took it back on now. That's about 20 years almost right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Rob, man. So those two things were good. I didn't really catch didn't really pay too much attention to who won anything. The other thing that I saw that a lot of people they were talking about on Twitter is and Facebook was Frank Ocean's performance. And how they were criticizing Frank Ocean. You know, I was telling my wife about that one. I said, my opinion on Frank Ocean is this.
He can't sing.
He can't sing. but as far as performances go, because I've seen him on a few different award shows, as bad as he can't sing. That was his best performance that I've ever seen him have.
No.
And that includes what he did on Saturday Night Live. That includes what he did when he did something on one of those MTV shows, award shows that he did. You know, and again though, he's no Miguel, he's no Brian McKnight.
He's no singer.
And I don't, but he doesn't, in my opinion, he doesn't really position himself that way.
Right.
So, it is what it is. The people that love him. The people that hate him, they hate him, and it is what it is.
I mean, do you have the album?
No, I don't have no album.
It's a decent album. It's kind of laid back. He's definitely a lyricist. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he can write.
He writes
just
his
can't
own
sing.
material. That performance, he was nervous. I don't know what was going on. He's done better than that.
The whistle at the end was a little off, but he's Frank Ocean. That's what he does. He does odd stuff. Frank Ocean.
I didn't catch it. So.
But that was the Grammys. The other big thing that really caught my attention, this is the last thing I'll mention, sitting front row, Chris Brown and Rihanna, hand in hand next to each other. Finally, out in the open.
Ain't nobody's business.
She was in court with him.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? As far as whatever the relationship is or isn't. But, I'll say that I'll commend them for being that bold because I know that they was going to catch a lot of flack for sitting front row next to each other, and they did it anyway. But, it is what it is, and if they happy, I'm glad they happy, and that's really all I got to say about that. But I'm sure that was a shocker to a lot of people to see them sitting front row.
Front row.
I don't know why. She was in court with another day. If you go to court with the man, then why not show up to the Grammys with him?
I guess you're right. But I just, like I said, I know it shocked a lot of people, I'm sure. Then they was having a field day with that one. But, if they happy, and kudos to them. But I'll move on from the Grammys. Let's talk to Mr. Cyril. Mr. Cyril.
Yes, sir.
So, Cyril, man, tell us what you got going on right now.
Oh, man. Well, this past November, I just released my 6th album. It's called Where I Stand. It's on iTunes, Amazon.com, and man, it's this year, this entire year, I'm just touring. I missed the Grammys. I was flying back from the tour began this past weekend, South Carolina and Tennessee. So I missed the Grammys because I am developing my music career, so I'll be on there one day.
There you go.
Right there. That's it.
So just so if you're listening out there, you want to pick it up, check it out. My stage name is spelled Cyryl. It's the word lyric spelled backwards. So if you Google me, it'll be the first thing that pops up. So man, just really excited this year. Got some big things. Boston next month, Atlanta coming up soon. So just really doing a tour throughout the country this year and promoting.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Now, shout out on Facebook, because if you're a friend to Cyril on Facebook, Cyril posts all day, all night.
Yeah. Promote. That's what I like. That's what I like.
I give helpful things. It's not all music,
It is not all music, but he's posting all day, all night.
Yeah.
So shout out to Facebook, man. Let them know how they can.
You can follow me Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. All of my social media is under Cyril Music.
Cyril
Instagram
music.
too.
Cyril Music, guys. That's how you can find him on the internet. That's awesome, man. Now you brought by one of the latest tracks to us, right?
Yeah. This is a song that a dear friend of mine, Jashay Jones, we did a duet, and we just released it about last week. It's a love song, so it was just kind of an early special gift. It's a free download on my YouTube page. The song is called This Moment, and it's a beautiful love song. It's my first published song where I'm just singing, no rap.
Oh, okay.
So I put it out there, and the response has been great. So hopefully y'all don't clown me like y'all clowning Frank Ocean right
Wow.
Now, did you have to put that auto-tune on there now, Cyril?
No, you know what? I don't even fool with auto-tune.
Oh,
This is all voices. No auto-tune on Jashay or myself. So it is what it is.
All right. All right. Look, now, I know you got that track for us ready to go, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and play that for us, man?
All right.
first saw you, I thought you were beautiful, but I'd never know how far that this would go. See, you opened my heart and you reached my soul, and soon you'll be mine to have and to hold. And all my life I've been waiting for this moment to be with you. This day is so special.
All my life I've been waiting for this moment to stand with you and show my love is true. You were always there and I was unaware. You were a friend to me, now my husband to be, standing before God and all these witnesses. Now I confess that all my life I've been waiting for this moment to stand with you and show my love is true.
And all my life I've been waiting for this moment to be with you. This day is so special. You see, I prayed for the best,
Expecting nothing less.
oh, now our time is near. Baby, have no fear.
You were made for me,
And me for you.
you're my ministry.
Together forever, and that's how God wants it to be.
In all our lives we've been waiting for this moment. I'm now with you, we're one, no longer two. In all our lives we've been waiting for this moment. I'm now with you, we're one, no longer two. No longer two. We're one. La, 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 la. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
All right, all right.
Wow.
This moment.
Yes, sir.
Right in time for
Cyril
Valentine's
and
Day.
Yes.
Jashay Jones. All right, man. I like production, man. Who produced the track?
I produce 99% of my music. Yes, sir. I produced that one. Yes, sir.
Awesome job, man.
Yeah,
a lot of
that was
production on
straight
that.
right there.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
And
production
you
on that.
write as well?
Yeah, I write.
Your lyrics?
Yep. I actually don't use a pen and paper when I write my lyrics. In fact, that song we never wrote it down on paper. We just were in the studio and I had the music already and we just came together. And Jashay's vocals were one take. I had to go back and
man.
redo mine because she's naturally a singer.
Yeah.
So when she left, I had to redo and touch up mine. But her vocals were one take. She would, especially at the end when she just ad-libbing, I just said, get up there and just ad-lib and I'm going to follow behind you. So her vocals are one take and I just followed behind her.
Good stuff, man.
Wow.
Good stuff. The thing, the thing I like you say, you admit, you're not a singer. And I like you stayed in your lane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You let Jashay handle the runs.
Yes. Yeah. And I just accent.
Exactly. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that, man. Good job. That's a good job, man. Good job.
Thank you.
Anybody else got any comment?
No, well done.
No?
I like
Nah,
that. I will
well
be
done.
If you don't
down.
like it, say it to
I'm
me. Don't wait till I
downloading-
leave and tell me you don't
No.
like it.
I'm downloading it right now.
If you
so.
don't like it, don't wait till I leave. I'm
No,
here. I can take it. I got strong,
I liked it.
You cool? Okay.
Yeah, I liked
all
it.
right.
Much better than Frank Ocean. Much better.
Cool.
Wow.
Cool.
He produces his stuff too, Jerm. But
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, man, good stuff, man. Good stuff, man. So Cyril's here. Let's go ahead and jump into the topic for tonight. So tonight's topic: what do men want from women, or what are men looking for in a woman? And I just want to start this conversation and say, they do want more than a big butt and a smile. That is not all that they want. That may be something they look for, but that is not all that they want. So this will not be the conversation this evening. That will not be the conversation. So let's jump right into it. What do men want when they're looking for a lady? Now,
well, hey, hold on. Let me interrupt you for a second. Remember last week we weren't able to answer Ms. Monica's question. She asked, would she want our daughters to compromise what they want in a man?
Right. Yeah, she did ask that question. And I'll answer that. And I'm sure if I know Jeremy, he has a comment he wants to make too. But no, I would say no. I don't want my daughter to compromise what they're looking for. I want them to set a standard, and whatever that standard is, I want them to hold it and wait until they find somebody that meets that standard. I don't think anybody should settle per se. You got to understand that everybody's not going to be perfect, and there's going to be something that you're going to have to work with. That's reality. But you shouldn't, lower your standards so that, to find somebody and then just hope that they someday meet it. You got to have certain qualifications, whatever they are. And everybody has to make their own decision as to that. So that's my comment on that. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number if you want to comment. I'm sure you wanted to say something, Jeremy.
Oh, yes. I would not like my daughter to compromise her standards nor mine. But I will say I would take the example that my mother did. She stays out of our business. It's your life, it's your choice, it's your decisions. Just be prepared to live with your decision.
Right.
And she takes and everything is on you.
Yes.
I help out. Now, if you ask me, I help you out. But it's your decision. You live with it, and just leave it at that.
Right. Yeah. It's a good comment. Any other fellas want to comment on that one?
Now, the original question, compromise, you said.
Yeah, would you want your daughter to compromise what she wants in a relationship?
Basically settle?
Settle.
Absolutely not. I don't want anybody that I love and care about to compromise. I mean, I think that the standard, prayerfully, her standard is in her faith. You know what I mean? Or the individual's faith in what they believe in and what they believe in God for. But no, I don't think anybody should compromise. That's, like Jeremy says, the decision you have to make for the rest. You have to live with that the rest of your life.
Right.
I'm curious, before we get to our call, I'm curious to ask Jeremy and Cyril, what if Rihanna was your daughter and she was sitting front row next to Chris Brown after what he did to her? What are your thoughts on that? What would you say to your daughter?
Honestly, they're young people, and both of them have a lot to learn. And so my bigger issue would be I need to talk to him. I'd really need to talk to him and really see where his head is or isn't. Because the one thing that I think is really overlooked when a woman, when a man beats on a woman, is there's everybody has a button. And I also like to answer that question. What was your button? So that what did you do to help contribute to that situation? Not that it means that you deserved it. You're saying that to
your daughter.
That's the conversation I'll have with her. But then, I'm going to talk to him too, because, again, it doesn't make it right. But there's certain things that you need to understand that you just can't do, to a man. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of accusations out there in that situation, especially things that she was doing to him prior to him jumping on her and all of that kind of stuff. So I need to have both sides of the whole story and not just what the media told me. And then, and then I can make a decision and kind of move forward. And so that's what I need to have conversations with them. I need to have honest conversations with both of them. And then I could really make a judgment call as to what I think or don't think. I don't want to leave the caller holding too long. Go ahead. How you doing tonight, Jesse James?
Oh, yes. So how you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's your comment tonight, sir?
Actually, I want to give a comment and shout out to my boy Cyril and just say on their music, on their love song, you know, just to encourage them and to send blessings to them. You know, I love that music. I love the song. I got a download there. I'm a great fan of and brother in Christ and Cyril, you know, and just want to encourage him to keep going, keep striving, and keep pressing, and, you know, to keep doing his music for the Lord.
Thank you.
Know, and I love that.
Thank you, Jesse. We appreciate that. I know Jashay appreciates that as well. Thank you, bro. You stay encouraged as well.
Amen.
Appreciate it. So that's my comment on the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna, and if Rihanna was my daughter, that's how I handle the situation.
I'm just curious, Jeremy.
I would say this: we can have a conversation, but it's gonna be on the phone.
You can't see him.
No. No. Now after them pictures, no. We can have it on the phone. After some prayer, then I have to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Because I do agree with J Real. You know, sometimes you do have to have a conversation because have to see what exactly was going on. Because like he said, you know, everybody does have a button, and people do have to understand that they you can't just say, not even just to a man, you just can't say any and everything to anybody, you know, because in situations like you first of all you don't know him, or at least you've been with him long enough. You know, it's some stuff you probably shouldn't have said to him, you know, because everybody has a past. Everybody has some kind of emotional baggage to some extent, but you know, it was just like I said, we would have to just talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have that conversation, and once I had a conversation, then I can move forward and discuss what can or cannot, or you know. But you got to have a conversation. There's a lot to that we don't know, so there's a lot that we need to ask in terms of making our own decisions, you know. So that's my feeling on it. I don't know. Anybody else want to comment? No. We got another caller. How you doing tonight, Ryan?
How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing all right, man. What's going on? What's your comment tonight?
Nah, actually, just wanted to shout out my boy Cyril as well. Just heard the new joint a couple of days ago. I actually met with him, and I live in Orlando. I actually performed with him at Faith Assembly or whatever for Your Voice Now. I don't know if he remembers me. I was a couple acts before him.
Oh, okay.
It was real cool, real smooth meeting him. I just heard the joint just now.
Wow.
Whatever, it's really dope. Just wanted to let him know that it's awesome. I really like how he did the singing thing. You know, that's real cool. Very flexible with his talent and stuff like that. I just wanted to shout him out. It's my first time listening to y'all. I'm going to stay tuned in. I'm really impressed with what y'all are doing right now. Just wanted to show y'all some love.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank
Means
you.
a lot, bro.
Y'all have a great night.
You too.
Ryan. All right, the fans are listening to you, Cyril, man.
Praise God.
Praise the Lord. So getting to the conversation, what men are looking for in a relationship?
Yes, sir. That's why I'm here.
So let's see. Go ahead. I'll let you. You're the guest tonight. Go ahead and make the first comment. What are men looking for?
All right. First and foremost, you know, I'm speaking from a perspective of a man of God, you know, with my flaws, but striving to be who God wants me to be.
Right.
Now, one of the first things that I look for, you know, being a man of God, is not her quoting scriptures. First and foremost, I got to be attracted to the individual.
Right.
Period. So looking past that part, you know, that's number one, you know, because I don't want to have to pray in tongues every time before I see my wife. Because I'm like, Lord, let your spirit make her attractive to me.
Wow.
No, I don't want to have to go through all that. No, but outside of that, and of course being a woman of God who's also striving to be what God calls her to be. I like a woman with great conversation, you know, and someone that can actually stimulate my mind mentally, you know, and something that someone can say, someone that has vision, purpose, and that it's going somewhere, not just sitting at home. Well, you know, if I call, what did you do today? Oh, I ain't do nothing. I just watch TV and watch Cheaters and whatever new show is on. You know, somebody that's doing something with their life. Not saying those shows are bad, but if that's all you're doing, bye. I'll talk to you later.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. The question again, what are men looking for in a woman?
Yeah, I got to piggyback on that because
Yeah.
I don't think no man wants a lazy woman. Like that is not. It's, a lazy man is kind of like you just sorry, but a lazy woman at that, that's just like the worst. I got to piggyback on that. If all you doing is chilling, or I was just on Facebook, or like it's certain things that's just not attractive as a woman.
And that's perfect. You know what, too? I heard someone say this, too. A lady that's not always available. You know what I mean? Sometimes I call you, let's go hang out tonight. Well, I'm doing something. Somebody that's kind of attractive because it's like, wait a minute, it's like you got to chase her down. Right. But if you always available every time, like, okay, not saying play games and be hard to get or anything like that.
Have a life.
Perfect. Yeah.
There you go. You got to have a life.
Let your man not be everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not just everything
not
just
everything.
Around us.
Not everything.
If we ain't doing it together.
You sitting at the phone waiting. We got another caller. How you doing, Miss Ruby?
Hey, baby.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey.
How you doing? This is Miss Ruby. I heard somebody up there speaking in tongues.
What's your comment tonight, Miss Ruby? I said, what's your comment tonight?
Well, my comment tonight is a man is looking for somebody who is just listen to him. It's just somebody who can cook.
That's right, Miss Ruby.
And not microwave.
You done said something right there.
Preach.
But for me, I'm just always I am. I'm just looking for a man with a heartbeat. We good to go. 98 years old, and all you need to do is have a heartbeat, and you good to go.
Wow.
That's all I'm looking for. So it don't take much to please me.
I hear that, Miss Ruby.
Just because y'all done dropped 3 in the ground.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't owe me. I should be saying hallelujah when them chicks come on it.
Wait a minute.
All right, now.
I be saying thank you.
All right.
Y'all so crazy. You know I'm just funny with y'all. But I just called up here to just to keep with y'all.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. We appreciate it, Miss Ruby. Thank you for calling.
Yes, all right, baby. Y'all be good now.
You
all
too,
right.
Miss Ruby. 407-894-1680 is the number.
Wow.
407-894-1680. Miss Ruby says she thank God when them checks come.
Don't cry for me.
She hit on a good point, though. Cooking is a big thing when it comes to women.
Yeah.
And you know what, too? Let me add to that. Not just the woman learn knowing to cook. Like, one of my things that I used to always joke about is the fact that I didn't know how to cook. These past 2 years, I've taken initiative. Well, how am I going to want a lady that can cook if I can't cook? So I've been in the kitchen, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
You were practicing, huh?
Yeah. So I don't think we should ask for something just because we can't do it in that area. You know what I mean? I think we should, whatever we're asking for, we should be able to contribute in that area as well. I'm not all for just, you need to be able to do this and I can't do nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, but it is, I think it is a big thing because,
sure,
you know, a lot of these younger ladies, man, I'm telling you, man, the kitchen is not the strong point.
Hey, you need to watch your grandma.
Some of it ain't any point.
Or the focus. The strong point or the focus. It's not the strong point or the focus. You know what I mean? And you know, and I'm not saying, like you say, you know, I had no problem cooking. You know, I cook most of the time at my house anyway.
Why is that, sir?
But
most of the time?
Because
What?
I like to. That's why.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna let it go.
All right.
You know, Jim got them ribs now. Jim got
He
them
got
ribs.
them. He got
Don't let him tell them stories of them ribs that he got. He is the cook.
But yeah, but I think it's still something that you should at least, you know, strive to. Something to be able to do, you know what I mean? And like I said, I mean, I got a lot of ladies in my family that it's not the focus, it's not the strong point.
We ain't even gonna get started.
But you know, it should be in there somewhere because at some point, you know what I mean? He's gonna come home late, and he's gonna want to eat.
Yeah.
He's not gonna want to go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And
something that didn't come in the cardboard box.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know a little something. You know, like I said, like I agree with Cyril. You don't have to know it all, but you got to know a little something. You know what I mean? Because I'll do it too. I don't have a problem. I'll do it all.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie. I do got a problem. Hey, I let everybody know. Don't come in there. I don't cook. I don't. Nah. I'm not gonna say. Well, I mean, I say that halfway jokingly. Now, I can cook some things. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I just choose not to. But I let you know before we even get serious. And that's what it is. It is. And if you can't take it, that's fine. You can move on. But my wife understands that, and but at the same time, I don't require my wife to cook every night. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But when she do, she get in that kitchen and she can throw down. You know what I'm saying? She cooks Sunday, some meatloaf, fresh mashed potatoes, and some cabbage. I'm still eating on it. You know what I'm saying? You know it's good when you eat leftovers 2-3 days. So shout out to my wife for that. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to his wife. Yes.
Yes, Miss Catherine Smith. Yes.
Getting some points for Valentine's Day.
I'm about to say Valentine's Day.
Oh, I don't need no points. I don't need no points. I stay scoring.
Oh, wait a minute.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. To piggyback on something else you had said when you first made a comment there, Cyril. A woman has to be, like you say, she has to be self-sufficient, secure, and confident. I think, beyond having, having an attraction to her, the next thing I think that's important is you got to feel like she's got it. She don't need you. You know what I mean? She's going to be fine without you. To me, that's sexy. Just the idea that you fine without me. You know what I mean? You don't need me.
Yeah.
You're not dependent on me. If you see me on Tuesday, great. If you don't, awesome. You know what I mean? To me, that has a sexy vibe to it as well. That I think a lot of men look for as well. So that's something to really strive for too, I think.
Sure, independent. And one of the things that I think is so crucial, so key, especially as you get older in age, someone with a pliable heart, somebody that's not so stuck in their ways that they're not willing to learn anything.
That's a major thing right there, because a lot of people don't like to learn what they already think they know. So I definitely can agree with you on that one.
Or if she's a woman that's been in church all her life and you can't tell her nothing. Excuse my English, but I'm just saying you can't tell her nothing. Ain't nobody got time for that. Somebody that she feels like, but someone that's willing to look at things and see things from a different perspective and say, you know what, let me get better in this area, and still willing to grow. I think that's attractive.
Yeah, definitely, because stubbornness is not attractive at all.
No.
And a lot of females have that stubborn potential about them. But I agree with you. As long as you're willing to look at yourself in the mirror and think, what did I do first before you just start pointing fingers? Because a lot of women are insecure about themselves, and so it shows in their relationships because they don't want you to do this or they don't want to do this. So I like a secure woman also, mentally and stability.
Yeah. Stable.
Yeah.
Stable, that's the comment. Ladies, you quiet tonight, ladies. Y'all like,
I'm listening to these
I
wonderful men.
I have a question.
Sure, what's your question, Miss Mom?
I did hear your clarification on my question, or you were answering my question. However, I kind of had somewhat of a twist to that question. It seems as though throughout our conversations about relationships, the theme that Miss McCrae has been hearing, as well as myself, is that when we tell you about our standards in men, they seem to be too high. And a lot of times we'll hear, oh, well, what if he just got a good heart? What if he just a good man? He gonna take care of you. What if he just, he broke, but he'll cook for you, all those different things. And so that was why I had originally asked the question last week, because I thought, well, it seems like would you say this to your daughter? As long as he's got a good heart, don't worry about it if he doesn't have any money. He can't take care of you. He can't provide for you. Don't worry about none of that stuff. He's a good man.
I said it.
So just settle with that.
If he's a good man, he's trying to get on his feet.
Well, see, you got to think too, Monica. What if he's a young man and he's in school? What if they start dating at a younger age and he's in college and he's going to school to, I don't know, be a doctor or some other degree or whatever field, and he's not not making the most money right now, you know, but he's interested in my daughter. Those are things to consider, not just someone that's sitting at home doing nothing. Or what if he's an entrepreneur starting his own business and things are kind of slow? Someone with that type of vision that's on the move is other factors. So I don't think that question is something you can say, oh, no, she can't be with him. You kind of look at it, but the attitude wouldn't be she's settling. You know, if she feels like she's settling, ultimately it's her decision. You know, as a father, I would just I would guide her. But ultimately, you know, it's her decision.
Right.
Okay.
And when I say he has a good heart, you know, it's the same. You know, he's got to have something else. You know, he can't. You know, he can't be lazy. He can't be at home. You know, caught up on all the Real Housewives of blah 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 blah.
No.
Right.
You know,
No.
and all the latest reality
But that-
shows,
that is
and then have a good
allowing
heart,
him
and
to
then be
have a
good
standard,
enough.
But-
He's got to have something going on.
Right.
You know, if I could see that.
Unless he got if he got an entertainment blog or something, we might be able to talk about that. But other than that, ain't no reason none of us should be caught up on all the Real Housewives shows.
At all.
At all.
So, you know, there's got to be other scenarios in there. There's got to be a backstory that's more than he's broke right now. You know, he's got to be going somewhere. Because if you're going somewhere, sometimes you got to work with a person and allow them to grow. You know, you can't just show up at the end. Oh, well, where was you when I was, you know, looking for $5 to eat that day? You know what I'm saying? And now 2 years later, I got $1 million. And now you're like, oh, we can talk now. No, we can't talk because we couldn't talk when I had $5. I told you I was going to have $1 million in 2 years.
Holla.
But I wasn't good enough then. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So that's what we're talking about. You
Okay.
got to have,
Okay.
you got to be able to grow.
So just be flexible.
Look
Okay.
at the situation.
So then,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything that we said in the past was that we were being inflexible. But
Yeah, because you didn't like my church, so my white socks that I wear to church.
the tube socks,
I'm still
because
offended by
I
that.
didn't say you couldn't wear them, but I want, you know, I'm gonna help you.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
get
gonna
you
try to
some
clean you up a
socks.
little
No,
bit.
don't try to change me.
It's not about change. It's trying to clean you up a little bit.
Let
Just
me
trying to
be
let
who
you
I am.
present the best of you.
Accept
That's
me for
all.
who I am.
Now,
407
she walked
894
out mismatched, and you
1680.
would let her walk around,
Right.
looking crazy.
In
That-
some
see,
white
that's-
socks.
that's the see, the thing
Some
about
white
it,
socks,
A
and
skirt and some
As a
white
man.
socks
as a man,
with some heels.
as a man, I can look dirty, but you got to look good.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely
He's-
That's
not.
my point.
Monica, he's
Double
he's having fun with you.
standards.
He's
No, he's
having
not.
fun.
No, he's not.
No, he's
No,
not.
he's not.
You don't
Oh,
know
he's serious? You
No, he's
serious?
serious.
Oh,
Very
man.
serious.
Oh, wow.
He is so
See,
sincere.
you're new to the show tonight.
No,
He's
you-
very
let me get
serious.
this
I don't agree with that doctrine.
So
Thank
you
you.
can't go out in some basketball shorts and an all-white shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and then, well, it depends on where.
See,
you're
I'm going to
going.
still look fly in some basketball shorts because I'm have the newest Jordans on.
Exactly. So it's,
I'm going to
it's
top
a-
it off with the shoes.
But she gonna have on some heels and she gonna be decked out.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Where are
She
we
don't have to be-
going?
Depends on where you're going. That's what I'm trying
If
to
you
say.
going
But
to
it's not
7-Eleven
okay.
dressed like that, okay. But we're not going to dinner with you wearing some basketball shorts and Jordans. I'm
What-
sorry. You're a grown man. You're not wearing tennis shoes with me out in
It
public.
just depends on your
Why
sweater.
not? What's wrong with
I
tennis
would do
shoes?
that.
No, if we're going to dinner, I need you to have some flat bottoms on.
Wow.
Some flat
Okay.
bottoms. What if I got bad
Hard bottoms,
Wow.
flat bottoms, real shoes. You're not wearing tennis shoes.
feet? My feet hurt.
Oh,
I've
yeah, I
been standing
agree.
up all day.
You're
I
not
agree
wearing
with
tennis
that.
shoes.
Why not? Jordans
No.
are like
Russell
You can't walk
Simmons.
into a
Russell Simmons
four-star
go to
Thank
formal
you.
events. He
You
goes.
You
They're gonna
cannot.
turn you
Why
back
not?
around.
You're not Russell
It's not
Simmons.
dress code.
Thank you,
You
Russell.
But
can't
I'm on
show
my
up to
way.
work.
You're not Russell.
I'm on
You're
my
not
way.
Jay.
I'm on my
why I
way.
can't? I should work like this.
Well,
Where do you work?
some professional
I work 2
positions,
jobs.
you can't show up to work with a tee on and some Jordans,
At
even
all.
though it looks good anywhere else.
Some
you
you
can't.
can't.
So there's a protocol everywhere you go.
No. There is
So you gotta
protocol.
know
Yeah.
how
Hold on
to
one
follow
second.
protocol.
Let me get this caller in there. How you doing tonight, Jesse?
Oh, I'm blessed. Right now, I just want to really comment on what the young lady was saying as far as, you know, having if a man is broke and you don't have no money, then that's what really not what she's looking for. Now, I'm a testimony on that. I'm married. I just been married for like a year now. You know, my wife's name is Ashley, and it's a beautiful woman. And when we came into the marriage, I was totally broke. You know, she was working. I ain't have no job. I was looking for a job, and I ain't have no money, no dime. Couldn't help pay bills or nothing. Now, God ordained us to be married, you know, and it was the love that was there. And there was also, she seen something in me that God is doing in my life. Now, yes, you shouldn't go get no broke man that ain't trying to do nothing with his life off rip. That's not no sense wherever. But sometimes if a man don't have no money, that's not a reason for you to not love him or get into a relationship with him or get married to him, especially if that's God saying that, hey, this is who I got for you. You don't know where I'm taking him, because I was broke. But now, this summertime, I will be opening up my own car wash business.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
I started with nothing. Not a dime. I got a job at a car wash, and that seed was planted there, and I was able to bring in money. Now I'm able to open up my own car wash come this summer. I don't know the actual day. I'm still praying and asking God what day to be the grand opening, but I will be opening up my own car wash business. Now, if my wife would have had that same mentality, she would have been missing out on something great. Because my pastor already prophesied and said that, Jesse, you're going to have a car wash business such and such time this year, and it's going to be successful. So you can't always say, oh, if this man ain't got no education or this man ain't got no money, what can he do for you? Because you may get this man, and he may not have this man, but this man could be the best man you ever had in your entire life.
That's what we be telling him.
Especially when God has called him to do something mighty and great. Because there's a calling on my life to be a pastor. And I never knew that, and I had to find out through trials and tribulations of my life. Because I would go out there and promote CDs and things like that, but I had to stop doing that because I wasn't doing my music, so therefore it was unlawful gain. So I made a vow to God to say, Lord, if you bless me, God, I won't do this no more. So I had to put those CDs down and had to look for a job, and I couldn't find nothing because I've been to prison and I had felonies. So I couldn't get no job. Nobody wanted to give me a chance. So if you have a man and he's good looking and he has a head on his shoulder and he wants something in life, then you're supposed to sow into him. You're supposed to pray for him and believe in him and encourage him and boost him and make him feel like, hey, I can make it. I can do it. And that's what my wife did to me. So therefore, I'm coming forth from my own car wash, and that's not it either. Next year, I will be coming out with my own car dealership, and it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going, and it's going to keep progressing, and I'm not going to quit. I'm not stopping. I'm not quitting. When I quit, it's when God says it's time for me to go. When it's time for me to leave this earth, then that's when I quit. But until then, I'm not going to quit. So you can't always say, oh, see, he's broke. I don't see nothing in him now. You can't do that. You got to have love.
I appreciate that, man.
You know?
Thank you, Jesse. We appreciate your comment. Just testifying.
Thank you.
Really testifying tonight. I appreciate that, man.
And I think maybe what I was explaining maybe was taken a little bit out of context. I was just throwing out certain things that have been discussed over the years. That's not saying that is something that I particularly believe, but we have discussed even in the show, should you have standards? And all the men in the room said, yes, you should have standards. So if that's the case, then it would be a double standard to say, well, you shouldn't have standards, but you should have standards. So that's what I'm saying. Where do you draw the line at with especially older women, women in their 30s and 40s? Should you just say, okay, well, I don't have anything, whatever comes, like Miss Ruby, if they got a heartbeat, it's on, That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's unfair to say, okay, you are being too picky when in reality, they're just having standards of what they would like because they have those things as well.
Well, I would say this, to go with what Brother Jesse said. If you are a God-fearing woman, at the end of the day, you should let God guide you. And I'm not saying don't have standards, but at the same time you don't want to miss your blessing. Exactly. Like Brother Jesse was saying. Mm-hmm. At the same time, so it's good to have this, but at the same time, you don't want to step outside God's will. You
don't want to let pride make you miss your blessing.
And I'm saying because men, we can do it too, do the same thing too. But that ain't. Now I wanted to look like this. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to kind of be like this, be like this.
You're supposed to be light skinned.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So we can go there too. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. So it works both ways. At the end of the day, you really just don't want to step outside God's will.
Mm-hmm. I agree on that.
But in that vein, if you're connected then you'll know. You'll know that, okay, he ain't quite what I wanted, but I feel like God is telling me something. And so that's reason to at least, see what's up, if you will. You know what I mean? So, and again, everything is situational.
Yeah.
Everything is situational because every broke man is not broke because he's lazy. So, so you got to really, you got to delve into it. Who are you? Why don't you have any money? Oh, okay. All your money going to this business you're trying to build. Okay, or whatever. Or all your money going to the school that you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to pay for cash and not have any loans. Or whatever the case may be. Like, you got to really fill people out and get to know them regardless of whatever level you meet them at.
And hey, at the same time, she, you look at the amount of debt she may have. You know what I mean? With these credit cards and shopping and whatnot. Yeah. So he may not have any money, but he may be debt free.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So I think the key is, I know we're talking about what men want in a woman. I think the key ultimately is the self-evaluation. I think that's one of my biggest things. I do have a list of things that I desire, but at the same time, I want to be first what I desire. You know what I mean? I don't want to have all these qualities. She got to be this, she got to be this. I'm trying to make myself better through the strength of God every day. And I desire to get better because I have weaknesses. And so I want to be better. I want to be the best me and the best man that I can be before I join with anybody. And that includes, financially, spiritually, physically, I think a lot of men, we want a lot of men want the Coke bottle shape, but they look terrible, They
want a Coke bottle, but they look like a gallon of water.
Yeah.
Right.
They ain't in shape.
Yeah, go to the gym yourself. You know, you can't, but sometimes my bigger brothers, they be getting them, so he must got a real good mouthpiece. But I think that ultimately it's a self-evaluation that needs to take place and getting better every day and not just having this list of do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I like that. Work on yourself first.
Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy with nobody. You're going to always find something wrong, some reason for that person not to be the one,
Yeah.
Always.
Definitely. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Because, there's always going to be a reason. You can pick apart anybody if you look at them long enough. So, you gotta, like I said, you gotta have standards, but no matter who they are, everybody's gonna have a flaw that you're gonna have to work with. And whenever you find that flaw that you can work with, you gotta work with that flaw. And you make a decision to either work with it or not work with it, but everybody's gonna have something. Nobody's perfect. The perfect man is not gonna be perfect in every area. Right. You know what I mean? So, everybody's gonna have something.
Yeah, ultimately you got two sinners getting together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so there's going to be some flaws.
Definitely.
Yeah, compromise is definitely in any relationship. It's just how long do you continue to try when something just isn't, it's not flowing, it's not connecting.
So you saying the deal breaker. What's the deal breaker for you? Is that?
And I mean, you.
I know what it is for me.
What is it?
The deal breaker for me is, I grew up in a household where my parents argued, and I saw domestic violence at home. Uh-huh. So, as an adult, I don't want to be a part of domestic violence or even that, loud, disrespectful. So one of the deal breakers for me, the very moment, especially in public, you raise your voice and yell and disrespect me and start cussing me out. Yeah. I see you later.
Yeah.
That's a deal breaker for me. I'm getting upset just thinking about it. But I just can't tolerate, because I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to disrespect you, especially in public, but even in private, I'm not going to do that because I grew up seeing that. And that's just for me. Some people are fine with that. And, hey, but for me, we should be able to talk things through like adults and
quietly,
quietly.
Just have a conversation.
Just have a conversation. Just talk. But I'm not with the yelling and cussing and you talking about my mama. I'm not with any of that at all.
Finger all in your face.
Yeah. Oh no! Listen.
No.
See, y'all getting me upset.
We'll stop talking
about
What's the first sign of crazy whenever you meet a woman? What's the first sign of crazy? So, because you say immediately, so.
No, I'm saying if that ever happened to me,
so it's never happened.
That's a deal breaker for me.
Oh, okay.
It's happened before.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
What was the first sign of crazy though? Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't just happen.
It doesn't just happen because listen, this is what happens when you meet somebody, you gotta let time go. Time goes on because they're not gonna show you them all up front.
Right.
So time goes on, you get to conversate, and then you happen to make them mad about something.
And that's when I think you really learn a person.
Yes.
Because you're happy go lucky in the beginning, everything's
trying to
good.
impress each other.
Exactly.
Right.
But then soon as a person gets upset. It's a difference between mad. It's like, oh, you did something, I'm pouting, but whatever. But when you really get upset, that's when you see the real person because you see how they handle themselves and situations. And I think that's the first sign to show when a person is crazy because it's some crazy people out there, boy.
I absolutely
Brother
agree.
seemed like he testified.
Right.
No, I agree. I mean, I have one to add to that, but the moment you put one finger on me,
Done.
It's completely
Walk
done.
up on me the wrong way. Hey,
Oh yeah,
back up.
You yell a little too close.
That's it.
Deltas can't fight.
No.
Whatever.
I may not be able to beat you, but you gonna know
Yeah.
you've been knocked down somewhere. Something's been attacked. Cause it is not gonna happen. You're not gonna hurt
So what
me.
you mean? You gonna
She's
get
short. She's short. I know what she's talking about. She 5
Oh
feet.
no, you're not. I mean, well, and I'm not
you
about.
talking about you gonna get them back?
Well,
Why he sleep?
Oh no. I mean, I'm just saying that, but you're not gonna hit me. No.
Well, like they were saying, everybody has a limit. I think
Yes.
as long as every female should know the man's limit, it's a line. You don't go past that line for nothing. And a lot of women like to tiptoe to the line and lean over the line and pretend like they're gonna go over the line.
Right.
But
And
those
it's
are
like
the
then they
crazy
get mad
ones.
at you, then that you react to their reaction.
But
I'm
you
sorry.
should never feel. Once you feel that urge
You
to go
walk away?
beyond your limit,
But-
you should walk away.
But-
Absolutely.
But you look at the lady.
shouldn't
What's the lady
allow-
name? Who
Is it
walked after her
Rihanna?
husband in the parking lot, and then he started beating
Juanita
her. There you
Bynum.
go, Juanita. Look at that situation. He walked away.
But he could have kept his hands to himself still. He still could have kept his hands to himself.
So if it was,
I'm not saying that, she was not at fault because she
Right.
should have never, urged him to become angry.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you should just be like, Juanita or whoever.
I walked
please.
away. I did that. I walked away when I did. I did that 3 times before I walked away.
That's just a tough situation. I don't condone anybody, woman or man, hitting each other, getting to that. Because again, I grew up seeing that, and it's not a pretty thing at all.
No.
And my mom swung back. He hit her. It was crazy. So I don't condone that at all from anybody.
Yeah, and the best thing is, to walk away.
Yes.
And you just, as hard as it is sometimes, because like you say, in every situation, some people will back down once you walk away. And then you have those that then, they got to egg it on even more.
And follow you.
But you just have to continue walking away if make up a mind what you going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only other person that you can control is you.
Right.
And so once you decided what you're going to do, you just have to back away and stay away and Lord willing, you know what I'm saying? It don't have to go anywhere, else.
Yeah,
So, but you can only control you anyway. So.
Yeah, and of course, the power within you have to allow that to help you control yourself. Because I think a lot of men, they say, okay, I tried, but she's really trying me, so I'm going to let her have it because this is what she's asking for. And that, I mean, hey, I'm sorry. I just don't agree with that. I think that you should be able to control yourself. If you have to go into the room, even though it may look like, oh, I'm being weak or I'm being soft because I'm having to close the door to keep away from this girl.
Call me
but
weak.
at least you stopped. You stopped. And she can do whatever she wants to do. She can act crazy outside the door, knock the door down, whatever. But you did not touch her. You did not hit her. Because we all know if any circumstance happens like that, in most cases, whether she was the person to initiate it or not, the male is the one that gets the repercussions.
Right.
So
Not
everybody,
recent.
well,
2012 was changed a lot. 2012, we uppercutting women and
That's
women
crazy.
shooting guns in the house and they going to jail. And
well,
2012
yeah.
to 2013, things are changing. Women, y'all better stop acting like that.
But even in that situation, I mean, she was in a domestic violence. She had a history of domestic violence.
Well, I'm
with
talking
this
about the
particular
uppercut.
man.
I'm talking about the
So,
uppercut.
yeah,
Let's
the
talk about
bus
that.
driver.
Okay.
The bus
Oh, you
driver.
crazy.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the
Video
bus
of the
driver.
bus
Okay.
driver.
Which
Like when that's a prime example of when you're doing this, then you make a mistake, or either you do it on purpose and you spit on me.
yeah, but it's still at the same time you can
You don't-
control.
you're right.
Nobody can make you do anything.
Right.
You know, you don't have to
it's
do
a
that.
decision.
You gotta
It's a
watch.
it's a
And
choice
you have
that
to
you
live
make.
with your choice.
Exactly.
Now, would I have lived with his choice? Gladly. Now, what I couldn't live with is going home trying to sleep at night. Like, man, this girl will spit on me. I personally, I don't like that feeling at night. Some people have that feeling where, like, you know.
But again,
But that's a whole another issue, because that's if you can't, you know, I mean, think what they did do to Jesus. They spit on him. What you just said is what they did. He didn't do anything back.
Right.
You know, he was on a mission. When you got a mission, and I was playing basketball the other day, and you know, everybody with this whole macho guys wanting to fight. I had to break up a fight on the court. Dude had an interview in 2 days, so he was about to get in a fight, get a bruise on his face, and go on a job interview. I said, "You're greater than this. This other guy has nothing to lose. This is what he does." I said, "You got to let the pride go and be a man." To me, the real man knows how to walk away, whether it's a woman hitting him or it's another guy trying to be macho. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly. Because what do you gain at the end of the day?
You don't gain anything.
You don't gain anything.
I
You don't
feel
gain
better.
anything.
I sleep at night.
Do you really?
In the jail
Looking
cell
back
when
at
she
her-
charges.
But you know, that's
charges on
notice
you.
To
that
her,
you
I don't
heard-
know what her. Oh, at the bus driver, he didn't get no jail time.
But that's one of them things. But like you said, it's another issue. If you go home and you can't sleep at night because somebody disrespects you, that's
a
some
whole
peace
nother
that you got to find within yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is a peace that you got to find, that you really block everything out. Like you said, you're on a mission. You got stuff to accomplish. You ain't worried about that. It's like, you know, when the devil's trying to bring you down from
I'm
something.
a bus driver.
Because
my
with
mission
stuff-
is getting people from stopping.
No. But see,
Okay.
it's one of them
That's
things
all
you don't
I'm
know.
saying.
You don't know what he had going on in his life.
Exactly.
Because
You don't know
stuff
what
be
else was
happening.
going on in his
Because
life.
I'm a big believer is sometimes when you be on your way to do something that it'll be something good, and then just something that little nerve that you got, that button, somebody comes and taps that button, and nobody ain't tapped that button in 5 years, but you be on your way to do something. You could be on your way to church.
But
You know what I'm saying? And you got a real bad problem with road rage, but you've been all right for 5 years. But somebody do that one thing that had you cause an accident in 5 years and totaled your car that you work hard for, and all of a sudden they do that one time. It's like, you got to know, like, you know what? It's all right. I'm going to church.
Exactly.
You know
Anything
what I'm saying?
any stimulus or anything that tries to get us to react a certain way, between the stimulus and the response, we have the freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to respond in any type of way. And speaking of choice, you know, we're talking tonight about relationships. And anybody out there listening, man, you know, male or female, I just pray that you make the best choice. I believe that, you know, there's someone that God calls for us to walk with, you know, someone that can really, you know, make the best choice. Don't get in a hurry, get in a rush. I know I get questions from family. I just visited family this past Christmas. Everybody asking, "Oh, when you getting married?" And you know, these are people that have broken marriages. You know, I'm not doing what you did. You know what I mean? So I just encourage anybody out there, and I know we're going to be taking off shortly, just to make the best choice and continue to believe in what God has for you.
Exactly.
Be the best you.
And like you say, establish you first, because that's the most important thing. You got to be happy, and then find your happiness with somebody else. We want to thank Cyril for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Make sure you check him out on Facebook, Twitter. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter as well, Real Family Talk. We thank y'all for listening tonight. We'll see you next week. This is WOKB 1680 AM. See you next week, folks.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.